join in a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Please be seated. The first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I'll move it.
Second.
Second by Nelson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 3-0. Items 2 through 7 constitute a consent agenda of routine action items to be considered by one motion. Items pass unanimously unless a separate vote is requested by a board member. Item 2 is approval of minutes of the March 5th meeting and approval of the minutes of the February 29th special meeting. Item 3 is approval of the claims. Item 4 from the county treasurer is to approve property tax refund request for parcel ending in 5021 in the amount of $6,090. Item 5 from board administration includes A, approval of resolution for a tax suspension for initials TS, and approval of resolution thanking and commending Lisa Anderson for her years of service with Woodbury County. Item 6 from Human Resources includes A, approval of memorandum of personnel transactions, B, authorization to initiate the hiring process, and C, approval of retiree requests to remain on the county health and dental insurance. And finally, item 7 from Secondary Roads is to approve the permit to work in the right-of-way for Ingois/David White and to direct the chair to sign the permit. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
Second by Bittinger. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 3-0. Item 8 from the Sheriff's Office for action is approval of waiving the nepotism policy for hiring initials CP as a correctional officer.
Hello. Chad asked me to be here. We have a son of one of our correctional officers that's applying. And as Chad mentioned before, law enforcement is a family tradition kind of job. And to be truthfully, we're struggling to find qualified applicants. So, and this individual is a nice qualified applicant that we'd love to bring into the jail and get to work.
This is a relatively routine procedure. Melissa, correct? If it's deemed to be in the best interest and no supervisory overlap.
Yes, Melissa Thomas, Human Resources Director. They do have to bring this forward since it is a policy and the board has to approve this separate. I do know that these two individuals will not supervise each other or be on the same shift. So that helps.
Thank you. Always good to make that clear. So any questions? Hearing none, I'll move approval.
Second.
Second by Nelson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 9 is reports on committee meetings. We do not have the other two supervisors on the phone. So either of you gentlemen have anything?
I do not. I was unable to attend our Veteran Affairs Board meeting last week, so I don't have an update, that's all.
I've got 911 board tomorrow night, but otherwise I have nothing else to report on.
Okay. Item 10 is citizen concerns. Anyone has any citizen concerns, please come, state your name and address, and your 3-minute comment, please.
I never want to jump in front of everybody. Kevin Nelson, Mayor of Salix. How are you guys doing again? I just have 2 brief things. One is just a reminder that the Farmers Drainage District is meeting this Thursday at 8:30 a.m. and hopefully they'll share options with the City of Salix. And this is regards to the proposed Salix Drainage District. So I have not heard what these options are, even though I sent the email over a month ago. But I'm happy to hear what they are. I will not personally be attending. I have another matter I have to attend to, but 3 council members and city clerk will be attending in my stead for Salix. And the second thing I'm sure that Mark Nelson will mention is that I was at the Hornick City Council meeting last night just to get some information mayor to mayor and how they did things with their flooding issue 5 years ago. And just to bring it all to your attention, I'm sure you'll talk to Scott Mitchell tomorrow night at the 911 meeting, but they're still dealing with it 5 years later, and they're having to spend over $4 million just to repair their roads. That's not including the $2 million of property damage and millions of dollars else for other infrastructure damage. So flooding to a small town, the equivalent, the size of Salix, can run into the multi-millions of dollars. And if you want to hear more about it, Scott will tell you all about it. That's it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
All right, have a good night, guys.
Thank you. Are there any other citizen concerns? Hearing none, item 11 is board concerns.
I am planning on being down in Sloan Thursday morning for that meeting. I think I'll be the only one there because I think everybody else is out of town, but I plan on being down there, Kevin. And yeah, it was interesting to hear that conversation last night, talking about the FEMA money. And I think the most disappointing thing was they talked about how almost impossible it is to work with these people. They've got an office in Kansas City working with the federal government. It's just impossible. Whether it was the engineer trying to work with them or the city of Hornick, it was just, yeah. So that's really disappointing, but that's we're over, yeah. But anyway, so they're trying to do the right thing and spend this money, and the government's making it hard for them. So hopefully they reach a resolution soon, but yeah, it's really tough, but it makes you think about exactly what you guys are going through down there. So hopefully we can find some common ground.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to bring this to the board's attention. While we were in our last meeting, the auditor put out a press release regarding our notice that will be going out to the taxpayers. And I have examples of this, if you want to just pass that down. Pardon me? Yeah, you can each have one of these. So this is an actual example of the notice. We have preliminary notices. The official ones won't be pulled until Friday at 4 o'clock, which is when the cities and authorities have a deadline to enter their data. So the auditor's press release that went out is stating that these notices will be coming. They will be postmarked on the 20th. These will show the city, school, and the county's public hearings for their tax levies. It'll also show the proposed tax asking and the proposed tax rates. It's a two-sided form. The back of the form is going to show some additional information that will show what $100,000 residence, if that assessed value were to be held constant between the two tax years, what the difference would be for those three authorities. So the release today is just giving a little bit of notice. This is going to be an additional cost to the county that has not been budgeted. I'll probably have those figures tomorrow. We know the postage alone is going to be probably around $25,000 in itself. That's before the printing and envelopes. There's 38,002 notices that will be going out.
And this is a result of new legislation that we are required to do this, correct?
This is the auditor's responsibility under House File 718, yes.
And last night, we had a conversation about how this could have been cheaper. Would you want to talk about why it's costing so much and why we can't do anything about it?
Yes, the deadline for the authorities to enter their data is Friday the 15th at 4 o'clock p.m. Being that it's a weekend, the mail houses aren't open over the weekend. It takes at least a half hour to export the data from the Department of Management and import it to our software to create these letters. So the file cannot be given to the mail houses until Monday. The notices need to be postmarked by the 20th, which is Wednesday. There isn't enough notice for those mail houses to sort and get it in compliance with the mailing standards of the post office to allow a reduction in the cost. So we just have to print them out as is. If they did have more time, it would probably save about $6,000 in the postage and potentially a little bit in the stuffing and mailing because things could be combined better.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Nelson? Regarding the law enforcement center project, I would like to highlight the fact that today the LEC Authority has issued a substantially detailed press release. And I would direct everyone to the committee page for the Law Enforcement Center on the county website. And also know that the LEC Authority's attorney will be emailing the press release out to the media today following discussion by the parties. So I'm happy to report that there is a substantial press release as of today. Mr. Bittinger, anything?
Let me see here. No, I'm good. Nothing
Thank you.
for this week, yeah.